Hi guys, welcome back. This tutorial is going to show you how to create a custom brush. So we're going to do that right now. So the first thing you want to do is open up a new file, and I'm going to keep it at 3 inches by 3 inches, but the size really doesn't matter. I figured keeping it small would be better than a large one, just to save up space. You also don't have to name it, but I put custom brush. Eventually you won't even need to save the file. Okay, so I'll click OK, and there is our 3x3 canvas. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the type tool, and I'm going to go ahead and type in a word. Now this word is going to relate to whatever image you are choosing for your photo clipping type project. So if you guys remember, it was the Usain Bolt picture. So I'm going to just go ahead and type in the word fast. And I'm going to take off the background layer. That's very important. We don't want to have any color in the background, including white. So you'll want to see the checkerboard here. Checkerboard means that it has no pixels. It's transparent. Okay. You can use any font you want, as you can see. It doesn't matter. It all depends on the effect you're after. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. It's called Paint Stroke, coincidentally. Okay, once you've made your word, you're going to take the lasso tool. The lasso tool looks like one of those. Okay, excuse the loud noise there. Okay, so anyway, the lasso tool looks just like a rope, little icon of a rope, making a little circle up at the top. So we're going to go ahead and take the lasso and draw a selection. You're going to lasso around your word. And it doesn't matter, the shape of that doesn't matter, just as long as you get some kind of shape around that word. After you do that, you're going to go ahead and hit Edit, and you're going to go down to Define Brush Set. And right away you'll get this brush name. So you can name it anything you want, but it makes sense to just name it describing what you see in the window. So Fast is what I'll call it, and I'll say OK. Now, don't need this anymore, but you might want to just minimize it in case you want to change it. So I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to go open up a new document, and the document itself doesn't matter for this tutorial, but you're going to want to use this for again, the clipping type, photo clipping type project. I'm going to say OK. Just get a blank document here, and as you know, you have the default white background, but I'm going to go ahead and add a layer above that. Make sure you do that. And I'm going to call this layer Fast, because that's the brush that I'm going to be using, called Fast. So the next thing you want to do is grab your brush tool, letter B hotkey right there, letter B, brush, and over up on the options bar, you're going to come to the right side, and you're going to go ahead and toggle that brushes palette, open it up, and don't worry about the other tabs. Mine stayed with the other character layers and so on, but brushes is what you want to see here. Start with the brush preset. You want to go ahead and find the brush you just made. So you're going to scroll all the way down the list here, and there's my Fast. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is look at your preview, and the preview will show probably something like this. So what you want to do is go into the brush tip shape, highlight it, and come over to the word spacing. Make sure it's checked, and you want to drag that slider all the way to the right, and that way you'll be able to see the actual word, because that's kind of the point. You want to be able to see the word. You can adjust the size You don't want to go too small, you don't want to go too large, you want to get it to a nice readable size. Okay? Next one down, you go to Shape Dynamics, and there's things called the size jitter, and that just sort of randomizes the different size of the font. Also, we've got minimum diameter, angle jitter that just sort of turns randomly. It turns your word around. Let's then head down to scattering, and that's exactly what it does. It'll scatter your word. You can choose either both access, and that means Y or X, so you get that randomization on the Y-axis and you get the randomization on the X-axis. So you can check either one. I'm gonna uncheck it and just stick to one. The count, how many you want to see, and we're talking about when we use that brush. Many times artists will use the brush palette when they have an actual graphics tablet with a stylus, and those things are pressure sensitive. We don't have that luxury. We're using the mouse, but we'll still get a pretty decent effect. Count jitter, it just sort of randomizes it in terms of how you use that mouse. Okay. There's other dynamics, and I like using this one because it adjusts the opacity. You can see how some look a little transparent, others look a little bit bolder, and a full opaque where you can't actually see through it. And I'm going to just stop right there, and I'm going to go ahead and test it out. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure again that you're on the layer above the background, and I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag, and you can see it, the randomization. Again, all these things were affected by what we did here in the palette. So if you don't like it, you can easily go in, get rid of it by deleting it, add a new layer, come back into your brushes palette, and decide, maybe you want to bring in some color dynamics. If that's what you want to do, then you will change your color. So right now I'm just changing the background and the foreground color. So you come in here, and right here, the background foreground jitter, let's test it out. And that just randomizes all the colors. Now that also has to do with the fact that I've put on hue jitter. I've put about 60%, and that's where you get all the different colors. But if I were to take that down to 0 and just do the foreground background color, come back into layers, delete that, and add a new layer, then it should just be red and green. And in fact, what it does is it blends those two colors together. That's why you get that brownish color. Okay, so that's pretty much all you need to do in terms of making a custom brush. Of course, you're not limited to words. You could take a photo and do the same thing. So I did this a little bit earlier, and I got a green and red apple there. Okay, so have fun with it, and hope you learned something. Thanks.